Hello once again, Dr. Blake Myers here, naturopathic physician, author, and creator of the Bridge System. And want to emphasize in this video today that menopause is about so much more than hormones. Of course, hormones are important. Of course, estrogen is dropping. But if we ignore all of the other realities of what's changing and the ways that your body needs support, then usually the treatment approach that we're doing or the things that we're trying to do to, help you feel better, they're not going to work. So that's why even menopause hormone therapy or hormone replacement therapy that you may be familiar with, that can be very helpful and important for women. And maybe you're one of these people that's done that, and it also wasn't the magic bullet, right? It's not the cure-all, because it's more than just hormones that we have to think about during menopause. So I learned this over many years of practicing medicine, but in this email I give an example of Ginny, who came to see me with a lot of common symptoms that happened during perimenopause and menopause: sleep disturbance, fatigue, headaches, hair loss, and then the sleep issues. She already had fatigue, sleep issues making fatigue worse, and no doctors really had answers for her. And this is very common as a naturopathic physician, to see people who have seen a lot of other doctors and they're not really getting answers for why they're experiencing what they are experiencing, or things that really resolve the whole picture. Maybe one thing helps one symptom and this thing helps the other symptom, but in terms of a holistic picture, she wasn't getting answers, right? So one of the reasons that this is because there are some foundational body systems that need to be thought of and paid attention to during perimenopause and menopause. Usually I'm thinking about it in a few different ways if this is going on. And so if you're experiencing a lot of symptoms and you're not getting answers, there's a few reasons that could be happening. It could be that you could have a lot of different seemingly unrelated symptoms, which can be confusing. Can be confusing for doctors, for sure. I mean, even myself included sometimes, if there's a lot of symptoms and you can't see how they're connected. But for you as well, right? If you're having symptoms that you're not seeing how they're connected, can be confusing and you're not sure what to do about it. If you've been experiencing the symptoms for a long time, that it can create, you can feel defeated, and you can feel a sense of kind of exhaustion. Like, I don't even know what else to do for this. I've tried so many things, for example, or you have tried so many things, and everything that you can think of or practitioner you can thought of to try for help, there's little improvement, and so there's defeat in that. But you can also feel kind of hopeless in that, and you can really lose hope of getting the support that you need, right? So those are common experiences, and if you're experiencing that, I'm really sorry to hear that. I've had a lot of patients in that position, and I want you to know you're not alone in that, and that there is a way forward, and that's what I'm here, doing at the Bridge System, is to try to provide a step-by-step guide for as you're going through the menopausal transition and into the post-menopause years, how you can think of this from holistic perspectives. But in today's video, I want to just mention a few of the main body systems that are impacted, and then I want to just pose a question for you to start to consider which one of these body systems that I'm going to talk about here in a moment, which one of these is maybe a major contributor, meaning like one place that I can focus on that can start to improve the way that I'm feeling, right? And these are listed in the Bridge System guidebook as well, but I would say the main ones are the digestive system, the adrenal system, which is really the brain-adrenal connection. It's called the HPA axis. The immune system, and that's connected to inflammation and oxidative stress. Mitochondria, which are the energy-producing parts of every cell has mitochondria virtually, except for red blood cells, but that's sort of an aside. All of your cells have mitochondria, and they produce energy and do many other things. Estrogen receptors in your body, so that's related to hormones, right? And muscle mass. These are some of the main places that we need to focus on to make sure that you're addressing perimenopause, menopause holistically, okay? So I would say, think about what I just said. So I'll just describe a tiny bit about what each of these does, and then I want you to consider, if you had to choose one of these that you thought was maybe a primary contributor, what would that be? And then that helps you in terms of where to focus. And you can find a bit of information in the Bridge System Guidebook about that. But the digestive system, right? That's anything from mouth to exit. So it could be, you can have issues in the mouth, sores in the mouth and things, heartburn, indigestion, undigested food in the stool, tendency to constipation, diarrhea, abdominal pain, IBS type symptoms, anything like that. If that's going on, that's probably, I'm just going to let you know, that's probably the first place to focus on. But some of these other ones, and especially if you have no digestive issues or minor, HPA axis, so that's the adrenal system, typically that is related to, you'll see things like sleep disturbance, trouble falling asleep, or maybe you're waking too early and you're wide awake and you can't go back to sleep, but you're tired during the day, kind of like a flip in what you might think, like you should be awake during the day and sleeping at night. And sometimes that gets dysregulated and flipped. You can have blood sugar dysregulation issues, and sometimes immune issues. So if you're seeing like increases in inflammation, that sort of thing, you might think of the HPA axis. Now, the immune system itself is related to the gut and it's related to the adrenal system. But I would say in general, if the primary thing that you're seeing is you're starting to get more infections, let's say you're getting herpes zoster, or you're like just getting like other cold sore outbreaks, or you have Epstein-Barr virus, which most of us have had, but that stays latent in the body, and all of a sudden now you're getting reactivated Epstein-Barr. And so like immune system, things like that are the primary things showing up. Then you might want to think about the immune system. Mitochondria, of course, fatigue is a major one, but also brain fog. Pretty severe brain fog can be related because your brain needs to make so much energy. So when these mitochondria that produce energy aren't working optimally, you'll get fatigue in your body, you'll get brain fog, but also, and you can also get sleep dysregulation. But also consider this: if so often when I've worked with women with mitochondrial dysfunction, they experience bodily fatigue that's worse with exertion. And then sometimes what happens is they can exert themselves, but then they're out for like a day, or if it's really bad, like 3 days, and they have a lot of pain. So it's like, yeah, I can work out, I can go for this long walk or whatever it might be, but I'm going to pay for it. So that sort of thing with the brain fog and fatigue, I'm always clued in a little bit to, oh, maybe the mitochondria is really something we need to focus on. Again, a little bit of information in the Bridge System about that you can learn about. But of course, implementing from kind of the beginning of the Bridge System is a good place to start there. The other thing that you might want to consider is estrogen receptors. I'm not going to go into too much detail in that, but phytoestrogens are really helpful in terms of supporting estrogen receptors. And I would say every perimenopause and menopausal woman would do well to try out phytoestrogens and see how those help. But if estrogen receptors and estrogen is playing a significant role in dysregulating any of these other systems, estrogen replacement would be something that if you did that, you should see that it's drastically helpful. Phytoestrogens should be helpful. So just that's kind of like one of the ways that you can maybe say, like, test it out, if you will, and say like, oh, how much is this or is this not contributing? Estrogen's contributing to some level because that's a primary thing that's happening during menopause, is this decreasing in muscle mass. If you have very little muscle mass, or especially if you're looking at what we call sarcopenia, which is that's a kind of a severe decrease in muscle mass, and you're experiencing like some of the other things I described, brain fog and fatigue and immune dysfunction and blood sugar dysregulation. Building muscle is one of the most important things you can do for yourself. Lifting as heavy as possible within safety reasons, but resistance training, starting where you're at, working up, that is one of the most important things you can do. So ask yourself, out of all those things I said, and I know it's a lot of information, but out of that, what is potentially one of the areas that called out to you, like, oh yeah, that sort of sounds like me and maybe what I'm experiencing? Leave a comment to this email in under the video. And let me know if any of this resonates, if you feel like you might be experiencing symptoms related to one of these body systems more than the rest. And I can try to guide you towards like the places that will be most helpful in the Bridge System Guidebook. And we can do our best to answer any other questions you have. So let us know in the comments. All right, take care, everyone. And if you find this helpful, please share this. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share it with your friends, family, women who could use this knowledge and this information. And share the Bridge System Guidebook with them, too. All right, take care.